This is Dr. West. Welcome to the Bible Answer Man, and hoping that this question might be a blessing to you.
Question: can we use birth control or leave the process up to God? Well, the Bible doesn't really expressly address birth control. I think in the reality of the thing, there's a rational part and there's a spiritual part. Marriage is one of the byproducts of relationships between husband and wife, is to procreate and to reproduce. And God said, "Be fruitful and multiply," and that process is still in effect. But coupled with that, I think we have to use wisdom, uh, and we need to have biblical principles involved in it. Uh, I believe that it's foolish and foolhardy to continue having children, forcing a woman to have so many children that it starts to be detrimental to their body. And secondly, there's an economic factor. The Bible says that we as parents must provide for our children. Our children are not the responsibility of the federal government. They're not the responsibility of the state or the city government. If you choose to have children, they're your responsibility. And I might just make this an addendum: a family that comes together and decides that they're not going to have children, that family is bound for problems, because that's one of the things they need to have. Now, if they can't have children, if they find out that they can't have children, then that's a different situation. And if that's known before the union and they still wish to accept that, both of them in equal agreement, then that's perfectly permissible also to enter in that. But if one party enters into a marriage relationships based upon the fact that they promise to bear a fruit of that relationship from their body and from their union, then one party neglects to do that, then that really would be grounds in my estimation to dissolve that marriage and move on. But we must provide for our own. Again, they're not wards of the state, and we never are to relinquish our wardship to any body being a political group or anything else. So we must provide them food and shelter, clothing. We must give them mental comfort, protection. We must give them safety and education. And we must encourage them to labor. So, and plus, these are just some of the cardinal things, but there's so many more that are involved in that. But if a person and a family has more children than they can educate and clothe, and years ago, this is probably 20 years plus ago, I heard that it took at that time about $180,000 to educate one child until they left home around 18 years of age or 20 years of age. That at that time was a monumental amount of money, and that's increased today exponentially. So I don't know what it would be now, maybe $200,000 or $300,000 to educate a child and to give food and shelter and clothing to a child until they leave home. So it's an economic thing, and if you continue having children just so that the city can or the state can give you more money for that, that's a sin against God. And so we need to address these things. But God leaves that up to us in most cases with some of the things that we've taken into account, as we've just stated. But other than that, just take your liberty in the Lord. But no, we're not to leave it directly up to God. He will prompt us, and but He'll give us wisdom, and we make a decision based upon that. But if we make the wrong decision, then God holds us accountable for that.